Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Opportunity Zone. I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Chris Lavin.
Howdy.
Chris, now before we jump in, we got a lot of headlines to cover. We've got, even though there was a kind of a bogus job report, we got construction jobs that are up. We got interest rates that are subsiding. We got Trump maybe forecasting a recession, maybe not. Before we jump into all that, what's with the Bono look?
Oh, come on, man. So, all right, full disclosure. I had the lenses replaced in my eyes as a result of some other stuff that I had going on. And I actually have bionic lenses in my eyes. What do I mean by that? Since surgery, they can actually go in and change the prescription of the lenses in my eyes. And they do that utilizing ultraviolet light. They can do that a couple of times and they use ultraviolet light to lock it in. So I've got to wear these special handy dandy stylish glasses to block any ultraviolet light so that it doesn't alter the prescription in my eyes until they can make me tall and good looking again.
They can do that?
No, no, they cannot.
Okay, so now we know why Chris looks like Bono. Actually, that's one of the questions that's come in a lot. Why does Chris look like Bono?
Hey, Bono tries to look like Chris.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
okay. So in all seriousness, this is the show where we discuss all the real estate headlines and opportunities for you as an investor. So if you are someone that's considering investing in real estate, you're in the right spot. We're literally going to go through everything that could affect you this week: policies, politics, the works. Cool?
Cool.
Okay. Another thing too we need to talk about today, Chris, is this whole BOI reporting.
Yeah.
This was a huge deal, BOI reporting. If you haven't heard about it, we'll give you the details on that shortly. Cool. Now, Bible lesson first. We're going to go through and we're going to talk about this lesson from the book of Proverbs. And it's written by a guy named King Solomon. Okay. This will take about 1 minute. King Solomon, just for context, this was the richest man on earth by far, richest kingdom. When you talk about like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos being wealthy, literally King Solomon was richer than both of them combined. And here's how I know it's true. If he was getting royalties every single year of around 200 metric tons in gold, just on the royalties, just on dividends from foreign nations and things like that. So if you convert that to today's dollars, there's a whole mathematical formula for it, but in today's dollars, that's about $93 million per year in annual passive income coming in. 93 million. I don't know a lot of people that are doing 93 million a year.
That's just his passive income.
So is it safe to say he was the wealthiest man?
I'm thinking so.
Okay. So now bear with me as I read this, because on Saturday, I was floating around the pool with a couple of our investors and a pastor from a church. And we got into this specific verse. And I remember one of my investors, he said, this is the reason why I started reading the Bible. This verse right here. I'd never read the Bible in my life. And I read this verse, and this is what brought me in. I'm like, okay, cool. I need to hear about this. So here goes. Blessed is the one who finds wisdom. Blessed is the one who finds wisdom and the one who gets understanding. For the gain from her is better than the gain of silver, and her profit better than gold. She is more precious than jewels, and nothing you desire can compare with her. Long life is in her right hand, and in her left hand are the riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those who lay hold of her. Those who hold her fast are called blessed. Chris, with that verse, could I ask you to bless us as we jump in?
Heavenly Father, first and foremost, I'd like to acknowledge who you are in my life, acknowledge that you are everything. And as a result of that, I'm asking for your guidance as we relay some of the knowledge and some of our knowledge and experience that we've gained along the way so that we can help the people that are listening just be a little bit better today as a result. I ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to jump in. We got a special deal we're going to be going through in about 2 minutes from Jeff in our community, who found a deal and he wants to come here and show it. And remember, we put out a challenge about a month ago. Chris got approved for doing deals up to 40 million, and he wants to share that love. So if you have a multifamily deal and you'd like someone to come in as a potential partner or someone to maybe buy that deal from you, then know that Chris is your guy. Think of him as your rich uncle. If you never had a rich uncle like me, then Chris is now yours.
I had an uncle named Rich once. Does that count?
That does not count. That does not count. Before we do that, so Jeff, get ready. We're going to pull you up in just a couple of minutes. Before we do that, I know a lot of people have been waiting for an opportunity to invest alongside of us or partner with Chris and I directly. And we're getting close. We don't have a deal today, but we do have a wait list and there's a deal coming around the corner. And I'm just going to pop up a quick pic of it. This picture right here is a brand new construction building built about 2 years ago, 2.5 technically. The builder on it got into some trouble. Builder had an illness that unfortunately put himself in a bad spot. And I went and met with this seller on Saturday. We had a really good conversation. There's a power of attorney that's taken over now. I met with that person on Saturday, had a good conversation, and we mapped out a pathway forward that can help them and can help us. This will be a very, very good deal for people to get on. Like I'm 100% sure if it's anything like our last couple of deals like this, it will fill up very fast. If you are waiting for a multifamily opportunity, then I highly recommend you get on our wait list. The way that you do that, if I could ask Sue or Doug to put the link in the chat for us. Sue and Doug are advisors on our team. They're going to put a link in the chat. Book a call with them. If you're following us somewhere on social media and you're like, I don't see a link, just put the word call in the comments and our team will send it to you in a private message, CALL call. And then what happens is you jump on the line with us. We'll tell you what we can about the deal, and then we'll put you at the top of the waiting list. The wait list are the folks that get the deal information first. When it publishes, it will fill really fast. So if you're interested in a brand new construction at a very big discount, this is the deal. That's the one. Cool. All right. Do we have Jeff? Can we spotlight him? I'm going to bring up his deal and we're going to spotlight Jeff and we're going to talk about his deal and then we'll get into the news. Philip or CJ, do we got Jeff here? And if not, Jeff, you may, oh, I see Jeff. There he is. Jeff, if you can hear me, you go ahead, just say something. I pressed the button so you can unmute.
Yeah, I'm upside down though. Isn't that funny?
Well, that'll be an interesting display. We'll try it. The main point though, Jeff, I know you've been working really hard to find deals and you found one. And let's see if you're upside down. You definitely are upside down.
Yeah, you can invert them.
Can I do that right
Yeah,
now?
you can. See, nope, maybe not.
Philip, if you know a way to invert Jeff as I pull up his deal, please do. If not, then Jeff, you'll be upside down hanging out with us. Just don't get dizzy, okay?
Yeah.
Turn the camera over, Jeff.
Okay, so Jeff, tell us about this deal. This is a deal you found in the state of Florida. We're not going to give away the addresses because it's still being negotiated, but it's a deal you found in Florida. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. So, well, I've been looking for multifamily, and this one came into my inbox, and it's 17 duplexes, and they are sold as a whole multifamily community, and they're all in a little subdivision together. And I don't have any experience with this, and I don't know how to underwrite duplexes when they're sold as multifamily. So it's one of the things I was going over with Chris Strickland when I was underwriting this to see if it's feasible, if it's something that should be pursued or not. So, but the sellers does want to get out. It's been for sale for almost a year now.
Cool. I have some financial questions and structural questions, but Chris, is there anything you want to ask Jeff?
Yeah, remind me, Jeff, I know we went over this deal a while ago. Where are you at? Where is the seller at? Because I know that the seller is saying they're motivated to sell, but I remember there was some resistance to your offer.
So yeah, so it was originally offered at 9.8, and I offered in my LOI 7.5, and they came back with 8.1 to 8.4.
So do they have other competing offers? Is that your understanding?
They're making it sound like they do, but
Okay.
I'm not sure if they do or not.
So Chris, you got to tell the story of what happened to us yesterday on the Zoom call with the broker. We had another deal we were looking at yesterday, Jeff, and these brokers tried to play a card.
Yeah. So one thing that you're going to understand about me is I operate with integrity, and I'm repulsed when other people don't. So we got on the call. We're in the middle of the negotiation for this deal. Now understand that this is a pro forma deal that we made a bit an offer on based on what we thought were financials, but turned out to be pro forma financials quite a while ago. And so once we found out there were pro forma financials, we were like, we're not interested. So these people have come back around, and they got on the phone with us, and they're telling us about all this great pie in the sky things, and then they told me Thursday they put call for bids, and they've gotten X amount of number of bids. I can't remember exactly how many, and they said, but we responded to 20 of them, and we told them to come with their best and final. And so you guys need to jump up and get your bid in here real quick. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not going to waste your time. Time is too valuable. So we're not going to put a bid in. We're not going to put an LOI. And they were like, what? What do you mean? And I was like, well, why would I want to get involved in all of that chaos? I said, this is an okay deal at best. It's going to require a lot of heavy lifting, a lot of work on our part. If you've got a deal, God bless y'all, and you really should take one of those deals. And you guys have a great day. And so we ended the call, and I don't think it was 7 minutes, 8 minutes. The broker in the middle of this deal called us up right away and had this explanation. Oh yeah, they got all these deals, but truth is they want to do business with you because they know you guys will execute and get the deal done. The reality is he was trying to create scarcity with me and lie, and I won't deal with people without integrity. So he then got back on the phone and all of a sudden became significantly more reasonable as to deal structure and openness, and we asked him to get us on the phone with the seller, and if that's the case, I think we can make a deal happen. But the bottom line is I called his bluff, and it was just a bluff, and it's dangerous.
So that bluff call, Jeff, might be something that we need to do on this deal too. So it sounds like, sorry, you continue on your path and then we'll make that call.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I mean, he's very responsive. I send him an email, he answers me like in 30 seconds. So, and he told me, he said a week ago that the owner wants to make a decision in 2 weeks. Again, trying to create some urgency, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, I told him, well, if I don't have an answer by then, go ahead and do something else. So he said, oh no, we'll wait. So
yeah, imagine that.
Okay, so let's talk about the numbers on this one, Jeff. So what is the net operating income as you know it today on this one?
it is 8, excuse me, let me look. Hold on. 553, 826.
Okay, is that last year's NOI?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So it's fairly current. If we go forward, we'll need to get a updated T3, but we'll run with this one. So 553,000. I'm going to take this just for simple numbers and I'm going to divide it by a 6 cap.
No.
You want to go 8?
Yeah, no. Banks right now are using 6.5 for valuation. So at a minimum, let's do 6.5.
So we're going to take it by a 6.5 cap. So I'm going to take it and divide it by 0.065.
Yes, please.
And the number, it's probably too small for everyone to see, but the number that pops up is $8.5 million. That's our max allowable all in for this property. What is the current seller's asking price?
8.1 to 8.4.
Okay, cool. So now we need to back out capital expenditures, closing costs, and then anything else that we think is going to be part of this deal. What do you know about the capital expenditures? Do you know of any repairs that are needed, or maybe some, I don't know what year these were built. You should tell us that too.
2004.
2004? Okay, so they're
20 years old, 21 years old. Wow.
they're going to start needing roofs now.
Yep.
Have they done any of the roofs?
Oh, I had that somewhere.
Not to your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge yet.
Okay. So we're going to need roofs, and we're just going to probably make some assumptions that the interiors are going to need turns as tenants come and go. So we need some capital expenditure money on this. Now, I believe you said that you submitted an LOI at 7.5. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, and what was the answer on that one?
That's when they came back and he said, the owner lowered the price to 8.1 to 8.4 from 9.8.
Okay. So he's mentally come down to 8.1 now.
Right.
Okay. So I think your offer was probably spot on, 7.5. And he's not that far away from you. He's at 8.1. It's within 10%. I think it's time for you to get on a Zoom call with the seller.
Okay.
And I can give you some supporting arguments, right? So state of Florida, 25-year-old roof, insurance company's not going to insure it. So we're at 21 years, right? So before you get back out of these in 5 years, if that's generally the operating window, or even if you decide to hold them in 4 years, you're going to have to redo all the roofs. That's big money right there, right from the very jump. Air conditioners are all starting to go, 15-year life expectancy, lots of stuff. So you can get on the phone with the guy and let him know, yeah, you're interested. But these are the reasons that this is what I can do. These are my calculations, and go back on them at that. You've got valid arguments for your position. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you end up, you're at 7.6, is that what you said?
7.5.
7.5. If you end up at 7.7, 7.75 on this deal, you're going to be okay. Yeah, that's where I would be. That would be the sweetheart for me.
Okay.
Jeff, you're close enough on this deal where I'm gonna reach out to you.
Yeah.
And I'll jump on the line with you, and then I'll
Okay.
do that Zoom call with you. And let's see if we can move this one forward.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Congratulations, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Nice
Thank
deal.
you.
First one could be a home run.
Yeah.
My first deal was a home run.
Yeah,
It was.
I know. You had a
$15 million,
nice
my first
15.
multifamily deal.
Yeah. Yours was 15 million, right?
Yeah, 15. Yeah.
Yep. We talked about that.
Cool. Jeff, thanks
Great,
for bringing
thank
the
you.
deal, and keep the hunt on, man. Keep looking for more. We're hungry.
Now, I do have a question. I have another one that I'm looking at, and they have plans to add 2 more buildings. It is a multifamily.
Send it over, Bubba.
Yes, send it over. We'll take a look at it.
All right.
You have our email addresses.
Yeah. All right. Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's how easy it is. Jeff has been out there hunting, and he found an opportunity. If you got an opportunity that you think that would be in our wheelhouse, email us, deals@homeinvest.com. We'll reply back with our buy box. That's our criteria for how we buy, what we buy, where we buy. Deals@homeinvest.com, and we'll happy to look at your deal on the show. And if it's one that we want, we'll jump on the line and we'll discuss a partnership opportunity on it. Chris,
Yes, sir.
are you ready to break down the important news?
I don't know. You always hit me with the tough questions. Go ahead. What are we doing today?
All right. So there's a lot going on. First and foremost, we have a big shift from 2 years ago, actually from 2.5 years ago. The market was in this fragile state, especially for multifamily.
Yep.
And for the first time in 3 years,
Yep.
multifamily is starting to take off again. Sales are starting to flourish. I'm just going to, for context, I'm going to put up an article from 2.5 years ago.
Yep.
We probably showed it on this show 2.5 years ago. We said, this is the article. It said apartment sales drop 45%. And now fast forward to today, apartment sales rise for the first January in 3 years.
Yep.
What's going on?
Lots of things going on. First of all, the president, right? The current establishment, interest rates, and let's be honest, the continued construction of old starts is winding down. So as a result, we have no new starts, and so therefore the inventory is shrinking. So sales are going up because values are finally getting to that point. And let's also realize that we bounced, right? What I mean by that is the prices bottomed out, and now they're on the rise. So everybody was, just like in the stock market, everybody was out and there was no transactions happening because the market was low. But now as people are seeing that the market is rising, everybody's jumping in. So we're at the the beginning of that climb up. So transactions are starting to happen because people forecast in the future. But let's be honest, our current presidency, right? Our current president is he's a real estate guy. So you got to know that over the next 4 years, laws, executive orders, tax laws, tax code are going to be manipulated and changed as much as possible to benefit him. And as a result, it'll benefit us. We're in the same business he's in, right? And now interest rates, right? We've seen a little dip in that interest rate, and that little dip in interest rate, have a point in interest rate on, you know, a $10 million mortgage, $10 million loan is a lot of money when you start adding it up over time. So I think those are 3 factors that, or even 4 factors that are weighing into what's going on with the climb of the prices. I mean, climbing the transactions. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So if you were waiting for that pivoting point, like when we hit bottom, when are you guys starting to go up? Right now, this is a telltale sign that we're on our way back up.
Yep.
So we were down 2 years ago. We stayed in that trough for a while. Now all signs are saying that we're heading back up.
Let me interject one quick thing. If there's not a lot of transactions, just like residential real estate, the cap rate starts changing on multifamily, and people get desperate. So that's what lowers the values down. But now, as transactions increase, values are going to start increasing. Those cap rates are going to start changing, and you got to get in deals now. There's urgency.
Let's stay on that same thread of cap rates. So I'm going to skip ahead one article. So the CR survey just came out. So this is all the industry leaders that are big players in this, REITs, big multifamily operators. They just came out with their annual survey, and they're saying right now that they believe that capital markets have peaked, cap rates have peaked. They don't think that the yield is going to change very much. What does that mean in layman's terms, and why are they coming to this conclusion?
Well, primarily because there's a lot of uncertainty, right? So, you know, we don't know exactly what's going on with, we don't know exactly what's going to go on over the next 2 years with, as far as, you know, I like to say people have confidence in the president, but lately he's going back and forth, and he's been all over the place, creating some uncertainty in the markets. So there's a lot of that going on, and yeah, just a lot of uncertainty all over. So I think that's the primary driver, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, in that survey, they dipped a little bit deeper, and they basically forecasted that office space, you might see the
Yeah.
yield change a little bit more. You might see they have to discount prices on office space, which could make the yield, the ROI, be a little bit higher on office space, because nobody knows where the bottom of that is. But almost every other sector across the board, multifamily included, they're saying we hit bottom. We're heading back up. So now's your time to grab stuff, is essentially what it says. You can look that up on cbre.com, huge commercial insight provider. This next one I want to actually play for everyone, because I want people to know and understand Scott Turner. This is the guy that he's leading HUD. He's the HUD secretary. He worked under Ben Carson during Trump's last administration, and he was one of the key players in opportunity zones last time around. And he's coming out right now, and he made a statement just a couple of days ago here on, I was live streamed on Twitter, on X, and I want everyone to hear this. Here's what the forecast looks like for multifamily real estate development.
To see what's going on, and I will tell you this before I leave. Hard decisions are going to be made. Healthy conversations are going to be had. The regulatory environment has got to change. The cost of building has got to come down. Supply has got to be increased. And we're going to do that together. And at HUD, we're going to lead the way with other agencies across our country. And as I stand here before you today, we are committed to carrying out this job. We're going to start running new plays. And here's a lot of the players in the huddle. And so I am encouraging you, and I'm challenging you to take inventory. What's working.
So that was Scott, literally in front of his entire team at HUD. I don't know if everybody in the company was there or not, but everybody in the government was there. But HUD, he was explaining to all HUD team members, this is what we're going to do. We're going to cut regulation. We're going to increase supply. And then later on, he talks about opportunity zones and how they're going to create more housing in areas that the country really needs it. For us as real estate investors, what does cutting regulation mean, Chris? What does it mean to increase supply? How will that affect what we're doing as investors?
Well, here's the thing. Increasing supply is bad for us, right? Because that drives rent prices down if we got an increase in supply. Cutting prices is I'm loving that part. There's no doubt about it. And what he's talking about is getting the cost of new construction down, is what he was speaking of specifically there. So therefore increasing supply, which is not the greatest thing in the world. And then, you know, the last topic, do we even want to go there?
Opportunity zones?
Yeah.
Come on.
So listen, opportunity zones. Listen, I grew up in housing projects. I grew up very poor. And so opportunity zones are intended to help people that were in the situation that I was in as a child. That's the purpose or the intent. It's not the reality. Even as these opportunity zones become unveiled, what happens is there's a bunch of good old boys that are involved, plugged into these networks that take advantage of these tax breaks to basically put more money in their pockets. The whole purpose of those opportunity zones, like Nate, like you said earlier, was to drive housing where it's needed, low income housing, that kind of thing. When the reality is it's low income housing in the relative scale, but in the locale where they're at, it's usually at the top of the scale, right? So it's almost a scam. I don't want to say scam. That's not right. But it's a good old boy network. And if you're on the inside, you're making tons of money. If you're not on the inside, you're getting the screws put to you. That's my opinion.
And Chris, I think that your view is a little bit jaded because you live in a bubble.
I do.
And the bubble around you, they were exploiting opportunity zones.
Yep.
They were basically saying, hey, this one's on the edge of a bad area. We're going to make it a good area by putting $1 billion building here. And I've seen, on the other hand, in some of the more rural areas where they've built low income housing, truly what it was intended for. And I think it's serving its purpose. So, I'm for it. I hope they push it.
Yeah, well, again, I live in a bubble, and right down the road down there, they're taking an opportunity zone where they're pushing low income housing away, and they're building tower condos starting at $2.5 million. Nobody in that neighborhood can afford that $2.5 million condo. It's right on the water, and that's an opportunity zone. Waterfront properties, opportunity zone. So you can't tell me that it's not politically connected to drive that as an opportunity zone. And I'm here to tell you that the local community is getting the shaft because now the taxes aren't going back into the community because the don't get me started. Yeah, because the opportunity zone, they got a bunch of tax benefits for the developers. So bad neighborhood getting the screws put to it again.
Here's why you might settle on opportunity zones, Chris.
Mhm.
Because you can literally do a 1031 exchange from any capital gain. So
Mhm.
not just real estate sale, but also from a business sale,
Correct.
from any kind of asset.
Correct.
And you can do essentially an exchange into that and never pay tax on that money.
Right. The capitalist in me says yes, but let's call it what it is, right? Let's not say that we're trying to help the little people. It's not true. What we're trying to do is create places for wealth. And I'm good with that. I'm just not good with, trying to dress up a pig and make it look like a princess. It's not a princess. It's a pig, but you know what? It's a cash cow too. So yes, I'm all for it. I love these kinds of deals. I just don't like the fact that a politician is trying to advance himself, thinking he's doing some kind of good for the community when the reality is he's not. I mean, he's doing good for the rich people and the people that have the money to invest. Don't get me wrong, and I am one of those people. But I just don't like the fact that they dress it up the way they do.
I'll take the pig. Okay. All right. Next one, Chris. So in Virginia, this used to be a state that I would admire.
Good Lord.
Virginia just tipped on the other side of the scale. So they just passed a law that basically tenants, they now have to get 30 days in delinquency before the landlord can post a notice saying, hey, you're behind on your rent. It went from 7 days to 30 days. What does this mean, and what does it mean in the broader context for real estate investors?
Real estate investors run, right? This is a blue state. So whenever you have these kinds of things going into place, now listen, to some extent, again, I'm in a bubble. We operate ethically. We care about our tenants. And if you're a good tenant who's running into financial situations, we actually have people on our staff that can put you in touch with social programs to get you the help that you need, to get you to, through this rough time in your life. That's one thing. There are also the other end of the scale when it comes to landlords who, will throw you out if you're 3 days late. This is to protect them from that. But then let's not forget about the tenants who do this professionally, like literally know how to play the game. What happens is you tie up my unit. I never know when you can get you out because it's minimum 30 days in the court process. And now I'm losing money. And I'm here to tell you at the end of the day, that building that you are now making me let somebody live in for free, that rent puts a paycheck in my employees' their pocket so that they can put food on their table. So how is this in any way, shape, or form right? So any kind of rent control, any kind of government interfering in with how I run my business, is not welcomed by me in any way, shape, or form. This is why we stay away from blue states. And that's not a political statement, it's just a fact.
And these are usually packaged by politicians saying it's to supply more housing, it's to make more affordable housing. But here's what really happens. We've done the studies, we've gone through them dating back to New York in the 1980s. Whenever rent control comes on the scene, typically what happens is landlords get scared and they pull their property out of the rental pool. If you've got a single family house and you're debating whether you're going to rent it or sell it, and now you've got more government mandates on top of you on the rental side, you're going to sell. And so inventory usually drops, especially in the affordable frontier. Last week, we got to look at that deal that literally sold for $8 million back in 2016, and it just sold just a month ago. It sold for
85 or
84,000,
something.
yeah, less than 300 grand. And that was because of rent control. All right. And that's why we don't, as a company, we have a hard line. We do not invest in states where we're going to risk investor capital, not on things like that. We go for landlord friendly states. Next one up, we've got Doge making the headlines again, this time in our lane. They're going through the housing department with Scott Turner's team. And there's some huge debates on this right now because they actually Doge hired 2 CEOs of real estate firms. One of them is an AI real estate firm. The other one is a mobile home park operator. And they're saying, hey, there's a conflict of interest here. You've got, smart people that are working in the industry now being the police. Chris, what are your thoughts on this?
Amen. My thoughts are amen. So listen, it's great to have a politician who thinks he knows how to run a business, whose paycheck is secured and whose position is secured, and whose health insurance is secured, and yada, 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 all of the, let's not get into all of, term limits and all that kind of thing going on. These are people who have actually had to go out, build businesses, become successful running those businesses, are used to looking at bottom lines and making the difficult decisions to keep their businesses profitable to the interest of their shareholders or to their employees or whatever. Let's face it, government employees don't generally do that. So having these people with this breath of fresh air coming from the outside is huge. It's a conflict of interest. Well, does it make any sense for me to put a McDonald's operator in there, or a Burger King operator in there, or a car wash operator in there? No, we want people that are used to housing. This is HUD, right? Well, this is the people we want in there taking a look and policing because they're experts. If I didn't have years of experience in the industry I'm in, I wouldn't know what to look for. I wouldn't look for the nuances. These are exactly the right people that we want in there. These are the people that we want in there, and they're running a gun to shut people down.
Yeah, I'm in the same camp as you. I'm not going to disagree with you on this, Chris.
Yay.
I am going to move us over to this one. This is Bill Pulte. Pulte Homes. Everybody knows Pulte, one of the biggest, one of the top couple of builders in the country. Bill Pulte is up right now for nomination to come into the government. And he'll be reporting to Scott Turner if this all goes through. But one of the big things that's on his list right now is, will they make Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac private institutions again? Right now, they're under government conservatorship. They have been since 2009, since the big bailout. The government has had money in them and control over them. Chris, what are your thoughts on taking Fannie Mae private?
Well, my thoughts are competition is the best thing in the world, right? So now that we got Fannie and Freddie competing against each other, literally, if we go and get a Fannie and Freddie loan, it's literally said like that, Fannie and Freddie, because it's like they're one. There's no competition between the two to get loans. The process to get, like, what happens when we take them back private? Do they pay back all the money that the government put into them? How does that work? What does that look like, right?
I hope so.
You would hope so. I mean, billions. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if it's going to work. Would I like to see it? Yeah, I'd like to see more competition in the marketplace, especially because I borrow from them a lot.
Yeah, so I'm hopeful that they actually go private.
Yeah.
I know that there's some risks and you'll find them on social media, but if they go private, it's more competition and no more government pretending to be business operators.
Yeah.
Government and business, they don't always do very well. If you don't believe me on that statement, just go to the DMV and you'll be quickly reminded about government inefficiencies.
Yeah.
All right, let's go over to this. This will be the nail in the coffin for the show, but it's also the nail in the coffin for BOI ending.
Yeah, it might be the nail in the coffin for my heart too.
So BOI reporting, this is kind of funny because we've actually sent out a few different notices to our investors. Sue on our team was watching the alerts on this and we were broadcasting to people. At the end of last year, there was this new rule that was being implemented. They passed it about a year ago, but they were going to implement it at the end of last year. that you have to report beneficial ownership interest of every LLC. Imagine that. And so a lot of people, when they invest in things or they choose to use an LLC, they do it for anonymity. They want to be private. They don't want the world to know what they have. But this BOI reporting came out and said, you know what, you got to disclose it, at least to I think it was the IRS that was tracking it. You got to disclose it. Well, they went back and forth. There were lawsuits that got filed, and it was like a left hook, an uppercut, back and forth, and they finally killed it yesterday. So what does this mean, Chris?
Well, it means that there's no more Tuesday, it's on, Thursday, it's off, Friday, it's back on again. This thing is finally dead. And I was dead set against this for the privacy reasons that you talk about. Because of who I am and the assets that I own, I've got them in private LLCs for both privacy and financial protection. And they were taking that away from me. And I'm all about less government and stay out of my business kind of situation. So Big Brother finally get slammed down and get pushed back. And I think we won this one. Very happy.
Victory.
Yay.
Okay, we got one more thing for you. Two more things. Number one, if you would like to know how Mr. Lavin and myself and hundreds of our clients are investing in real estate and getting massive tax breaks, literally to the point of, what was your refund check last year?
$53,830 something dollars.
And Chris, was it a good financial year for you? Or was
One of the best in the previous 10 years.
So he had one of the best financial years in the previous decade, and he got a $53,000 refund check. A lot of people will ask, how is that possible? Is that even a real thing? Yes, it is. The tax code allows it. There are 3 big tax rules that we're going to be breaking down for you on our upcoming training. And you can sign up for this training. I will have a link put in the chat for everybody. Philip or CJ, if you could help me with that, I'd appreciate it. But what you do is you come to this page, you sign up. We're doing this webinar Tuesday next week. So it'll be next week after the Opportunity Zone. And we're going to break down what it took to get that refund check, how we're investing in these multifamily properties, developing cash flow for us and for our investors. If you would like to learn how to do that the way that we do it, then make sure you sign up for that training. It looks like CJ already put the link in the chat for everybody. Click on that. If you don't see a link because you're following us on social media, just put the word link in the comments, LINK, link, and our team will private message it over to you. We'll get it over to you. Chris, last thing I want to do is I just want to put this up for our potential accredited investors. If you are looking for an opportunity to invest in, these are not easy to find. Deals these days have to be created. We literally worked on this one for 18 months.
Yeah.
We anticipate this one coming out of the gates, paying somewhere around an 18% IRR, somewhere around a 6% dividend after it's stabilized. If you're interested in a property like that, that can get you a nice double-digit return with really good equity growth it's got new bones to it, literally only a couple years old, then make sure you join our wait list. When we publish this, our wait list folks are the people that get it first. You'll get a private phone call with all the details on it before it even gets to the general public. So join the wait list. Sue or Doug, if you could put that link in the chat, I would so appreciate it. You're probably already ahead of me. Oh, Doug beat me. Perfect.
They both beat us.
And if you're looking for that link online somewhere, just put the word call in the comments, CALL, and our team will private message over that to you. Chris, you want to put the nail on the coffin on the show today?
Sure. Go ahead and please get on that wait list. This Florida deal, we've already got one of our investors who's spoken up, who will take half. That's no BS. They've been waiting to deploy some capital in Florida. One of our advisors is already ready to go with that. And I'm gonna tease this a little bit. This may turn out to be an eternity deal. This may be an infinity deal. The numbers are looking that great. So that's gonna go quick. So please make sure you're on the wait list and you make that happen. And I just want you to remember that in order to change tomorrow, you have to start today. So please, whatever it is, if you save $1, save an extra $10, invest it, just do the right thing so that your financial future is secured and it's different than today, if that's what you're looking to do.
Awesome. Chris, thank you, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks, partners, investors. Looking forward to working with you soon.
See y'all later.